The clink of silverware was the only sound that filled the room after my mother's words cut through the laughter. "You're not on the will anymore, Emily," she said, slicing her prime rib as if she hadn't just detonated a bomb. My fork froze halfway to my mouth. The cranberry sauce on my plate looked suddenly like blood. Everyone, my brother Adam, his wife, their perfect little twins, pretended not to notice, but the silence pulsed. I managed a shaky laugh. "Excuse me." Mom didn't look up. "You heard me. Things change. Adam has responsibilities, children. You don't." There it was. The blade behind the smile. I should have seen it coming. She'd been distant for months. Short, distracted phone calls, cancelled lunch plans, an unreturned text about my new apartment. I told myself she was just tired. Getting older. But now, watching her calmly butter her bread while my future dissolved over gravy boats and Christmas napkins, I felt something raw tear open inside me. I stared at her hand. Steady, elegant, still wearing Dad's ring even though he'd been gone 5 years. I remembered the nights she'd cry into her glass of Chardonnay, whispering how she didn't know what to do without him. I was the one who sat up with her. I was the one who took over the bills, sold the lake house, handled the funeral. But I guess love isn't a ledger. "Mom," I said quietly, "can we talk about this later?" Her eyes flicked up, cool and unreadable. "There's nothing to discuss." Adam cleared his throat. "Let's not make this awkward, Em. It's Christmas." I turned to him. The same boy who once cried when I gave him my last cookie in 5th grade now couldn't look at me. His jaw was tight. Guilt or pride, I couldn't tell. "Right," I said softly. "Merry Christmas." After dinner, I helped clear the table while everyone drifted toward the living room. My mother hummed along to a carol as she rinsed dishes. I stood beside her, watching the bubbles burst in the sink. "Why now?" asked. She didn't stop scrubbing. "Because it's time. You've always been independent. You don't need my money." "I never asked for your money." "No," she said, glancing at me. "But you've always wanted my approval. And that's something you can't inherit." The words landed like a slap. That's when I saw it. A faint smirk tugging at the corner of her mouth. Not cruel exactly, but triumphant. And suddenly I knew. This wasn't about Adam's kids, or wills, or fairness. This was punishment. For leaving home. For building a life that didn't orbit hers. For not being the daughter she could control. "Enjoy your present," I said quietly. She frowned. "What present?" "The one under the tree. The silver box." She opened it later, surrounded by family. I stood near the fireplace, sipping wine, pretending to enjoy the chatter. Inside the box was a small wooden frame. Dad's handwriting, etched from one of his old letters. "Never let anyone rewrite what's already yours." Next to it, a folded document. Her face drained of color as she unfolded the paper. It was a photocopy of Dad's original will, one she thought I'd never seen. The one leaving everything equally between us. The one she'd quietly changed after he died. Adam's wife gasped. "What's that?" Mom's voice wavered. "Where did you get this?" "Dad's old safe," I said. "You told me it was empty when we cleared the house." "It wasn't." The room felt smaller. The fire popped. My brother looked between us, confusion turning to realization. "Mom," he said slowly, "you don't," she snapped, eyes glistening. "You don't understand, your sister she." But she stopped. She couldn't finish. Because there was nothing to say that didn't sound like betrayal. The truth was, I'd found that letter years ago, but I hadn't meant to use it. Not until tonight. Not until I realized she'd rewritten not just a legal document, but the story of who I was in her eyes. All I ever wanted was her love, her pride. But she'd bartered those for control. I thought exposing her might feel satisfying. Didn't. Watching her crumble, seeing Adam's stunned silence. It just made the room colder. I set my glass down. "You can keep the money, Mom. I just wanted you to remember who Dad was. And who I used to be to you." Then I turned to leave. She called after me, voice trembling. "Emily, wait." Paused at the doorway. The firelight flickered across her face. Half fury, half heartbreak. Dad once told me, I said softly, you become what you choose to protect. Her lips parted but no sound came. Outside, the snow had begun to fall. Each flake glowed under the porch light, dissolving as it touched the ground. Brief, beautiful, gone. I walked to my car, the cold biting through my coat, and let the tears come. Not for the will, not even for the betrayal, but for the quiet death of something I'd been holding onto for too long. The illusion that family meant safety, that love meant fairness, that truth, once uncovered, could heal what deceit had poisoned. I drove off before she could step outside. But later that night my phone buzzed. A text from Mom. I found another copy of Dad's will. You were right. It was wrong of me. Merry Christmas. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I typed back, Merry Christmas, Mom. But I didn't hit send. Some presents, I realized, aren't meant to be returned.